I'm David Gray, and it's been way too long since I've done a backpacking trip and a video. I tried to put something together after the July Wind River Range trip to take place in August or September, but just really never got any traction on it. Now we find ourselves in October, perfect fall weather, and I'm taking advantage of it to get out for a quick local overnight backpacking trip with the dogs. Plan is we're going to do a quick overnighter on the Tecumseh Trail, one of my favorite trails in Indiana. We're going to park at the Bear Lake Dam Trailhead parking lot, which is a little southeast of Martinsville, Indiana, and then we're going to hike on out to the Fox Den shelter, where I've stayed a number of times in the past. It's probably about 4 miles. Enjoy the campfire and the wood life for one night, and then hike on back to the car tomorrow morning. Jaden is now 16 years old, and his back legs continue to get a little more weak every day, but he is still able to handle our 3-mile daily walks that we do at Worth Park in Westfield, Indiana, so that tells me he'll probably be able to handle this just fine. But I don't know how many more he has in him, and as we go through the winter, I'm not sure that he's going to be able to do any more hikes with me starting next year. So I thought what I would do with this video is do it as a little bit of a night out in the woods, and then also a little bit of a tribute to Jaden. I'm planning on weaving in some of the memories that we've had from all the trips that we've taken over the years. He's been with me since the very beginning back in 2010 on the Peninsula Trail, and I don't know how many trips we've done together, but it's been quite a few. This one may be the last one, it may not be, but we're going to do a little backpacking video and a little bit of a tribute to Jaden. And with that, let's get on down to the Bear Lake Dam parking lot and get this hike started. Actually pretty amazing. We're in like late October, and as you can see, the leaves really haven't started changing colors yet, so not going to be much of a fall foliage tour, I'm afraid, on this one, but still a beautiful day. I've done a few backwoods boony hikes in Indiana, and this one certainly classifies as way up there on the list of backwoods boony hikes. Oh man, we are back there in Indiana. Bit of a twisty, curvy dirt road out in the middle of nowhere in Indiana. This is the Bear Lake Dam. Okay, I made it to the trailhead, and this is definitely one of those spots where you're thinking, I wonder if the car's going to be okay when we get back. The Tecumseh Trail goes that direction. We're actually going to be going this way, but it comes down from that big hill on the other side. This is actually one of my favorite stretches of the entire Tecumseh Trail, which is a 42-mile long stretch. So, pretty little spot, not a lot of color in the leaves right now, but certainly a glorious fall day to do some hiking in the woods. We are geared up and ready to do some hiking. And when I say we are geared up, it's me. Notice Bailey does not have her normal pack on that she usually wears. That's because she's starting to have some rear leg issues, just like Jaden. She's got hip dysplasia, so her hip bones are kind of misshapen. Thought I'd save her the burden, so I've got all the doggy stuff with me. Add a few extra pounds to my pack, but we're ready to go. Let's get this hike going. This is Bear Lake. Pretty little spot. The Tecumseh Trail actually goes straight across the dam. I think you can see the blaze right in the middle there. And then up that hill, which is definitely a memorable hill. Well, we're not off to a great start. I'm pretty sure this is the trail, because I see a blaze up there that looks like it's been painted over. So I'm wondering, the trail actually comes down from up there, top of the dam, and up that hill. So I'm wondering if they've rerouted the trail. We're gonna make our way on the old trail if we can figure out how to get through here. There's some thorny vines crossing the trail here. Well, this is definitely the trail. There's a blaze, but ain't many people been out here. There used to be a bridge. Maybe that's why they rerouted it. There was a bridge down here. Man, oh man, this is like kind of impossible to get through, so we're gonna go find a different way. Well, I guess if I would have been paying attention, I would have saved myself a lot of pointless up and down. They've obviously routed the trail right across the dam and then down the road, which is what we should have done in the first place. Jaden's going a little slow. When you know where we're going. Yeah, we finally found the trail again, so now we're back on familiar territory. This is what we find ourselves in right out of the gate, heading south out of Bear Lake. Nifty little hill just to get the old heart beating. I remember all of this. Been here many, many, many times, but Jaden's doing okay. So far, so good. We're doing it. Reach the top of that little hill, and then you get a ridge walky sort of thing, thankfully. Catch your breath. After the ridge walky thing, we've got this kind of long downhill, sweeping downhill, and then it immediately crosses a creek and then right up the other side over there. There's a lot of up and downs in this section, but man, is it peaceful. Here's the bottom, and you see the blazes over there on that tree. And this is a creek. Looks sort of like a road. It is in fact a creek, and it's the first time I think I've ever been here when there was absolutely no water in it. So that's a little lesson for you if you're ever hiking in Indiana in the fall, especially fairly late fall, is all of these creeks are usually bone dry, so don't count on any of them for water, which makes me wonder the one I'm counting on for water at the base of the shelter. I've never seen that one dry. If that one's dry, we might be working on plan B, because there's no water anywhere around there. I've never seen this creek actually be dry, so that's a little ominous sign. So we'll see what we get to when we're at the shelter, but hopefully we'll have some water there. Otherwise, we might be making a long day hike. There's another one up here in a little bit. Hopefully it'll have a little water in it, or wait for this next one, which isn't too far, and we'll find some water there hopefully. There's the next hill we get to go up, and that's the one we just came down. That's what this stretch of the Tecumseh is, just kind of like a little roller coaster. Up and down. There's a little water here, that's a good sign. And doggies found some up there, that's good. So we got a little water. Maybe a little hard for perspective, but that is one ginormous tree. There's some big ones in this area, I don't know. It's not first growth tree, but it's pretty old. It's been there a while. You can see it in the background there. I remember the first time I came to this bridge, it's like, who the heck put this big branch right out in the middle of nowhere? Another big landmark on the Tecumseh Trail. I remember this little, there's the trail there. And that's the road we're going to cross here in just a little bit. The doggies found a little bit more water. It's on a little reroute here. You can see the little pink tape. And that's because that bridge seems to have taken it on the chin. Kind of hard to tell, but it's kind of at an angle and doesn't look real stable. I think you had a little bit of a flood go through here. We're heading up that way in the deep woods. Well, that last bridge may have been a little unstable. This one looks like it took it on the chin even worse. This used to be all the deep wood stuff, just like what we just went through. Like this here. Everything around here was like that before. You can see how many trees they've cleared out. Some sort of a sign up there, probably talking about the logging. Pretty nice day in the woods in the fall in October, isn't it? That's one way to put lipstick on a pig from a logged out area. Interesting political spin on it. Young Forest Habitat Demonstration Area. This is where we are, and you can see what the rest of the Yellowwood State Forest looks like. Good way to put a nice spin on it. Well, after that, where the two bridges were, then you go up in a little cleared open spot from the logging. You go up a pretty severe hill. Once you get to the top of that, you got this long ridge walky sort of thing, which is really pleasant. I think this was the reroute from the logging that took place, because I don't remember the original trail having this long of a stretch, but it's kind of almost like a Forest Service road. Pretty pleasant after the climbing, and relatively open. Just a gorgeous day to be walking in the woods. We're almost to the shelter, and this is our water source. We got a nice little puddle there, so we'll be able to find it, and once I let the dust settle from the dogs contaminating our water source, that's probably where we're going to get water from. But the shelter is kind of hard to see, but up on top of that hill over there, I believe is where the shelter is. So we're almost there. I'll probably come back and get water after it clears a little bit from the doggies. A little lesson to you and me. I've been here many, many times, even this time of year in November, and this has always been flowing. I think we'll be able to get sufficient water, and it looked relatively clean, so that'll be okay. We'll be back here in a little bit. And here's the last very memorable hill up to the shelter. Shelter's at the top, right up in that area somewhere. Tempted to go back and just get water. I think we'll go up there and come back down here in a bit without the bag. That's a sight for sore eyes and legs. Right there's the shelter. I forgot how nice that climb was. Now we got to go back and do it to get water, but it's settled in here and rest and then go back down and get some water. Did we make it, Bailey? Well, it hasn't changed much. Well, there's the old fox den shelter. I was home for the night. Not exactly the most delicious looking water, tastiest looking water I've ever had, but it'll do. The dogs don't quite understand it's our water source. Come on, Bailey. Well, it kind of mucked that up a little bit. I don't know if you can even see it, but there's actually a little bit of a flow. So I'm guessing this might be coming from a spring because it's bone dry up there. Maybe it's not such bad water off after all, but one thing I do know, it's the only water we have. And it's going to require a little dipping. It's going to take a while. Let's see if I can find something a little deeper. This is a little better, not much. Get about half a liter at a time. Try not to get too much debris in there. It actually looks relatively clean. I'm guessing it's coming from a spring. Just the worst part is there's just a bunch of leaves and stuff in it, but I've had dirtier water, that's for sure. All right, filter that, drink some. Well, it took a while, but we have 4 liters of filtered, 4 liters of dirty, another liter of dirty, and another half liter of filtered. 9.5 liters of water. That should be plenty. Now we get the joy of going back up that hill, but at least we're doing it without the pack this time. But we've got water now. Our situation has been improved. And the doggies are having fun chewing on sticks. Well, we survived that climb up that hill. I am very glad that's the last time we're going to have to do that on this trip. If you ever come and stay at the old fox den shelter on the Tecumseh Trail, you will remember that climb up from the water source. It is definitely memorable, especially when you're carrying 9 liters of water or a full pack or whatever. Lots of downed trees around. Makes me really glad I brought my little saw. Should have plenty of wood. Fire going in a little bit here. No. What's this? That's all scratchy there, huh? It is really nice having a picnic table, I have to admit. Kind of a luxury to be able to sit down and have a cushion on here and do all your chores kind of with the table. Ready for bed. Which won't be for another 6-7 hours. You don't handle downtime very well. Jaden handles downtime much better than you do. He's snoozing.
Aaron had a counselor that they were aiming for, I think Fox's Den, and they ended up calling Kathy to come and do some stuff.
Motivated by food.
We actually have 3
Nästa del från en vacker dag med det bästa vädret.
Okay.
We were here in November.
Oh, okay. So
9th of November.
Okay.
It is a lot cleaner than any of the other shelters at any of the other properties.
And it's always this clean.
Yeah,
And
always.
I've never been here when it wasn't clean.
Yeah.
Really is. Everyone really takes good care of it.
Do you have some favorite stretches that you really
This
like?
stretch
This one?
on the Low Gap and down through Bear Lake and
Yeah.
all the way to here. Yeah, I love it. I love this stretch. I think it's the most challenging stretch.
I do too.
The whole thing. Yeah. But it's really secluded. And
You rarely see anyone on it. Rarely.
Enjoy your stay.
Thank you. Enjoy your hike.
Come here as much as you want.
Appreciated the company.
Yeah.
Well, that was actually kind of a nice little visit. Breaks things up a little bit when you're just out here by yourself. We're going to do a little bit of lunch, trying something different. This is a Bumblebee Snack on the Run chicken salad kit with crackers. Reminds me of doing the cheddar cheese spread, which we'll be doing a little bit later. All right. Bailey, I'm sure we'll have no doubt. See how this is. Not bad. A lot going on compared to the chicken salad I make. They got all kinds of stuff in there. Nice little lunch. Way heavier than I would want to carry on a regular basis, but nice for a little change of pace. We're out exploring. We've been looking at the Gaia GPS, and after talking with the people from the Lutheran seminary that stopped by the shelter, they talked about getting equipment up to the shelter to do maintenance on it using this road. It connects with another little service road up here, and then that takes us down to the main road, and we could make this hike into a loop instead of doing an out and back. And there'd be a road walkie stretch on it, but it would be something different, and I've never done this before. So just gonna go up here a little bit and see what we find. Well, this blue line here is where we came. At the end of that blue line is where the shelter is, and up there is a little road that connects in with the whole road network stuff. So we've only been walking about a minute, and we're already about halfway to it. So I figured we'd go up there and see what we find. I don't know if you can hear that. It sounds like some sort of an ATV type thing. Well, we'll keep going a little bit here, but if that starts getting closer, I think I'm heading the other way. Well, I think I've learned what I needed to learn. I don't know if you can see that up ahead, that little white thing. That is some sort of a structure. So I don't think we're going to come this way. I don't want to go through somebody's backyard. I thought maybe this trail would connect directly with that road, and it does not appear to be the case. We're still only about halfway to it. I don't think we'll go that way, but now we know. It was a fun little adventure. Well, I changed my mind. I was looking at the map and realized the scale of it. We were only like 200 feet, 300 feet from the road that I was talking about going down. Went up and just kind of took a look at it. It's just a warehouse sort of thing. It's not somebody's house or anything. And the road, I don't know if you can see that white spot to the right of the building. That is the road. So I think that is exactly what we're going to do in the morning. It'll make this whole thing into a big loop that will just simplify things and speed things up tomorrow immensely, and we won't have to retrace our steps, because from a video standpoint, I already showed you all for the most part. Heading back to the campground now. We'll get the fire going and start the evening activities. It's only about 4 o'clock, but I think it actually starts to get dark about 7 now. Late season hiking kind of accelerates the evening schedule a little bit. About time to get the fire going. Oh no. Check your lighter for fluid before you go on the trips. Another checklist item. I think I can certainly get the stove lit. And then this lit. Let me work on that for a second. Well, this is one of those times when it's nice to have a little stove with an igniter. Works quite well. Bailey takes the direct route. Alright.
And now we're into a little bit of a rock scramble.
Bailey's taking care of the bug problem in camp. Are you tired, baby? You got your shoulders. go. Enough to get it going for a little while. All right, it is cheddar cheese spread rehydration time. We'll just do a little one because it's just us, and we got all kinds of other food to eat. So it's not going to take a whole lot of water. A little more than that, probably. About an hour or so, and we'll be doing a little sample of cheddar cheese spread. There you go. It is cheddar cheese spread time. Hey. I never get old. Done this for what, 10 plus years now, and still just as good as the first time we ever did it out in the woods. Gotta be something about the campfire and the woods and Well, for dinner tonight, now we're doing real food. So that is a filet mignon in a vacuum seal bag. It was frozen. This is potatoes that I already cooked in a skillet with onions and peppers. Not a bad real dinner, and I'll probably split a good chunk of it with the doggies. That's the not Mountain House dinner tonight. Dinner is cooking, and you kind of need smell-o-vision for this. Cooking it kind of really slow because that's a pretty thick filet mignon. And I do have the potatoes in there now, so I'm just kind of heating those up along the side. Most of the heat's in the center of this pan. Ooh, flip it over. Doesn't look so bad for a backpacking meal, does it? The classic It's Not Mountain House meal, but man, does that smell good. Alright, I think we are done. Just use this as our plate, I guess. Oh man, potatoes are awesome. Oh, steak is done perfectly. Not a bad setting either, huh? Nice campfire going. Probably won't be too much longer. I'll be in bed. Nice little dinner to wrap up what has been a pretty good day. I'll give you guys some. Looking at me like you're gonna chew off my leg or something. So I'll share with the doggies. It's the end of a really nice first day on Tecumseh Trail out here at the Fox Den shelter. A really pleasant night with the doggies. Absolutely perfect fall weather. Couldn't ask for anything more. Not even 8 o'clock yet. Like late fall, winter backpacking takes getting used to because you've got to deal with some really, really long nights, especially when you're solo. Bonus extra day out in the woods that I didn't know if it was going to happen or not. I don't know if this was Jaden's last ever backpacking trip. I just don't know. He handled it okay, and he's doing okay now. It's the end of a really nice day number one, night number one. We'll get going on day number 2 tomorrow. Look at that white Jaden. He's the best doggy ever. We're just hanging in the shelter. It is still dark 30 out there. It's actually about 6:30. It is actually raining on and off. It's actually one of those little events when you're sitting in a shelter like this that makes you decide to just stay in the warm sleeping bag for a little while. The doggies are content to just hang out here too. Not much we can really do until at least it starts getting a little bit lighter in the sky here. Joy, I guess, of backpacking in mid to late October or later. You get some really long nights. Getting ready to get going on day number 2 here once the sun comes up a little bit. My doggies. You shall feel good. You said a good way to wake up in the morning. It's 7 o'clock and there isn't the faintest hint of any lightness in the sky yet. Anyways, might as well get rolling on the day here. It'll gradually start to get lighter. Get some coffee and a little bit of breakfast, and then we'll head on our way. Get an early start to this day. There's one really nice thing about having a shelter, especially if it's raining, to be able to pack everything up inside here. It's just kind of like a joy. When you go and help, you always want to supervise. I don't know how many other people have done this many times, getting ready in the dark, but this is a completely different experience for me. Doable, probably good practice. When you hike this time of year, I think you're going to have to do this occasionally. Oh, it's pretty. It's pretty in the dark. Having one of those panic moments. I can't find the coffee. This is my original MSR drip filter. I think I bought this in 2009. It's got holes in it a little bit, but it's not that complicated. It still works just fine. All right. A very full cup of Dunkin' Donuts coffee. And I was trying to think if I've ever had Dunkin' Donuts coffee in the dark before, and I don't think I ever have. And that was a quickie, just a overnighter out here on the Tecumseh Trail in October 2021. But man, what a gorgeous day yesterday. Nice pleasant experience once again in the shelter. Getting going on day number 2 on the Tecumseh Trail. Well, we are packed up. The camera's making this look a lot lighter than it is, but it has lightened up enough that walking is possible without a headlamp. I'll probably still keep it in my pocket because the woods are kind of dark this morning, but let's get hiking. Day number 2 on the Tecumseh Trail. Here we go. Now we're geared up, pack on. We're going to head up this way. We're going to do a little exploring and try to head up to that forest road and then head that down to the main road. So a little different hike today. I'm not sure how much we'll be filming, but it's a dark, boony trip down through the woods here to get the day started. Here we go, day number 2. Okay, you see the forest road kind of continues right up through here, so that is what I'm going to do. And then that white spot back there, I believe, is the road we're looking for. So first little adventure of the morning. That's what that was, Walnut Ridge Retreat Center. I think it used to be called Bear Lake Lodge, and I don't think there's anybody there. I didn't see any lights on or any sign of activity. It was a little freaky going by, but now we're on, this is the trail. This goes down to basically the road that the car is parked on. This will be our hike for today. And I don't know, this is probably lightening it up, but it is really gloomy. It looks like it could just pour down rain anytime, although the weather's actually improving. It's supposed to get partly cloudy and then partly sunny after that. I think things are actually improving, but if the temperature is dropping like it's supposed to, it sure doesn't feel like it. It's in the low 60s and very humid, really humid. Feels like a rainforest almost. I don't know if you can see it real well, but there's a little house and there's another one kind of up here. And I think what these are maybe are rental cabins out here. But heading down this way, and the Bear Creek Road, which is where the car is parked, is down just around the corner down there, about 1,000 feet down. A lot easier trails than what we were hiking yesterday. Yeah, I just had a little excitement right here. We had about 4 deer go right across the road, got Bailey all wound up. Probably hard to see through the woods up there, but that's the intersection with the Bear Creek Road. And then that takes us right to the car. I'm not sure how far, probably a couple miles. Yeah. This is the Bear Creek Road. But we head up this way for a couple miles probably. Doesn't bother Bailey. This is the intersection of, I guess we were actually on Richards Road, and this is Bear Creek Road, which is where the car's parked. And Richards Road is actually what we crossed yesterday, not long into the hike. I think we've got less than a mile to go. You think to yourself, Road walk, yeah. But I'll tell you what, this has really been a good call. It's only been a couple cars that we've seen. I've been able plenty of time to see them and get the dogs off the road. So it's been relatively safe. I was a little worried about that. The rural Indiana scenes that you see out here. We are so far back in the backwoods of rural Indiana. No paved roads out here really. Everything is hard packed, kind of dirt stuff. It's been pretty pleasant hiking. It's been really nice for Jaden because yesterday was pretty tough on him. He handled it okay, but it's nice to give him a break on some, you know, a little nicer terrain and smoother roads. After going by some really barky dogs right there. That is the car. It's the last little hill up to the Bear Lake Dam trailhead, and then the trail actually goes up here, so I'm going to get off this road for the last 100 yards here. We made it back to the car. No matter how long the trip or where you go, it always feels nice to get back to the car. So there you have it, the 6th trip of the 2021 season. The Tecumseh Trail in Indiana is in the books. Certainly didn't have the majestic views that we had out in the Wind River Range in July, but for Indiana, it's really a pretty beautiful area. Couldn't ask for better weather, and even that road walky stuff that we did here on the last day turned out to be pretty pleasant with some really backwoods rural Indiana scenery. And we sort of did this one for Jaden. Wasn't sure how he would do, but he held up extremely well. We had some rough terrain, a little over 4 miles yesterday, a little easier stuff today, but he held up extremely well. Not sure if this will be his last trip or not. Not sure if he's going to be able to make it into next year doing trips, but at least for this one, it was a rousing success. The Tecumseh Trail, one of the better trails that we have in Indiana, and it was also a great hike.